It's true, Shawn.
What are you talking about? What's true?
All of it. You know all of it. You know it.
So where can I find this truth?
On the Pop Bros Network, because this is a Pop Bros exclusive.
Did you just want to act like Han Solo again?
You know, doing a promotional spot isn't like dusting crops, boy. What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we're speaking the language of bromance. How are you? What have you been up to?
I just been watching a brand spanking new show on HBO, Richard.
Why is it what does that term mean, spanking new?
Well, like when a baby comes out, you spank it. So it's a spanking new baby.
Yeah?
I don't know. I assume that makes sense.
That does make sense. But you came out with that like right off the jump. You were like, oh, it's because of this. And I'm like, huh.
Well, I mean, think about it. It makes sense.
Made me think you actually knew what you were talking about.
Oh, we've proven that that's not true. The thing about baby comes out, it's like, it's a new baby. It's not crying. Oh, God, spank it. Whack. Okay, it's alive.
Oh,
good deal.
Woo, it's alive.
Put one in the win column.
That saved an awkward conversation. Am I right? Huh? Nurse? I can kill this one.
You'll laugh later. No, so we've been talking about it offline a little bit, but I have been on a nice kick on a new HBO show called WestWorld.
I have as well. I wrote, I put up a review some weeks ago, and at the point I put up the review, I think we were only on like episode 8.
Yeah, it's like 6 or 8 episodes, or 6 or 7 episodes, because there was 10 altogether, I think.
Right. So the review I have is up to episode 7. I want to say 7 sounds right. So at that point, like I mean, I think my general consensus was I was happy with it. I was happy with the elements of it. The one gripe I had was it was moving so goddamn slow in terms of plot.
Yeah, that's what you said. I didn't think it really moved that slow compared to some things I'm watching. Like, I felt like it was a good pace. Well, I guess, like, what part of it did you think was slow? Just was it the interweaving of stories, or?
I think it suffered from the same problems that kind of Game of Thrones suffered from, where you go to a Game of Thrones season and the first episode's really good, and the first episode, like, a lot of shit goes on, a lot of shit happens, and then episodes 2, maybe not even 2. I'd say like episode 2 or 3 till the second to last. There's not really much happening. Like, it's all pulling tension and gearing you up like, oh, shit's gonna go down. It's like the ultimate cock tease. Because like Game of Thrones, like, let's be honest. And I've had this conversation with my wife. Like, ultimately, the only reason that any of us watch Game of Thrones is we want to see dragons fight White Walkers, right?
I'm there for the story. I mean, I read the books.
Well, oh, God damn it. I forgot about this. We want to see dragons fight White Walkers. Okay, you're reading the books and you're like, you're like flipping towards the end. You're like,
where are the pictures?
Where's the, oh God. Where's the dragons and the White Walkers?
Oh, look, I found the word boobies. Pause here for a second.
Oh, pictures.
No, so do you think, so I'm just doing a little bit of analysis. So I haven't really watched too much in like a binge fashion in a while. Even like shows that I'm watching on Amazon Prime, I usually only watch like 1 or 2 a week. Like I don't know, just don't have the time, or there's other things I'm doing besides watching shows. I know you've binged through a lot of the Netflix stuff because you got like Daredevil.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, like the Netflix stuff and whatnot's easy. I mean, it's easy to binge through, and you know what? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think you're making a decent point without making a point. Is the fact that maybe since since Westworld is week to week in an episodic fashion, that it feels slow because I'm only watching it week to week.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to.
Okay, then a show like Daredevil, like I can you binge like 2 or 3 episodes a night, and in 4 nights, then you've seen a complete season, and you feel like you've gotten an adequate arc.
Yeah, because like me, I've been watching Walking Dead episodically for the last 3 years probably, and that's probably the epitome of slow. Like that's where you talk about like the first episode. There's a lot of action. That's a lot of just character development, and I don't really didn't feel that way about Westworld or Game of Thrones too much. Because like in Game of Thrones, you had the Battle of the Bastards like episode 7, episode 8. So before the end, you had a huge event.
Right. But what did you get from? Okay, so so Game of Thrones last season was.
There was a lot of. You had Hodor. You had the Hodor situation.
I'm trying to think how. Yeah, there was a lot going on. I would say this last Game of Thrones season was probably their best. Okay, so Westworld. I jumped in. It had probably been on for about a month. So I did binge in the beginning, the first like 4 or 5. And yeah, it was probably around like 3 or 4 that I was just like let's do something. Like they were doing some stuff with Maeve, the character Maeve, and I thought that was cool. But yeah, by about like, about 6 or 7, I was just like, okay, like let's get somewhere. Like let's get somewhere and do something. Like there was no really big serious development, I would say. Maeve stuff aside, because even her story arc, it was just kind of in a holding pattern.
Yeah, it was pretty repetitive, I would say. So I'm sure if you're listening, I'm sure you've probably seen this or probably you've heard about it, because a lot of people. I mean, this is kind of like the next big thing, and is
good because HBO needed it.
Yeah, and the season finale was about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. So if you don't know. I probably won't spoil anything too in depth, but basically the high level of this show is they're all zombies. That's what it is. They're all zombies. This is the prequel to Walking Dead. Spoiler alert. I'm just kidding. No, so they're androids, and this is based off of a book by Michael Crichton, the dude that wrote Jurassic Park.
Movie? No, was it a book? I
thought it was a book. It was a book that they made into a movie.
Well, he made it into a movie.
I believe he sold the rights of his book.
No, I thought Michael Crichton wrote and directed the screenplay. Yeah. Oh, here we go. On to the pedia.
Internet bet. No, I'm pretty sure it was based off a book because, as we know, I like to read books. And I tried to find... He did direct... Is it the same guy?
Michael Crichton. I thought he wrote and directed the movie. So they made the movie. The movie was in 80-something. They wanted to make a sequel. The sequel never got made. The sequel was supposed to be Future World, was the name of the sequel.
Maybe it was just the screenplay, because I was looking for...
Yeah. Oh, I was looking for the book, because I like to read books.
Well, they had it online, like on eBay, so maybe it was just the screenplay on eBay, but it was like $300. Like that's what it was going for.
Oh my god!
That probably explains then why I didn't see like a reprinting of it.
Yeah, because you were probably trying to, they were probably trying to sell you an actual, like a copy of the screenplay.
Yeah, from the 70s.
On the set. Yeah. Did that come out in 70s?
Yeah, I think so. Hold on, let me look. Michael Crichton, he's dead.
Michael Crichton. Is he dead?
73.
Okay, 73.
So it was directed by him, the original. So basically, the high level of this story is it's based on, or it's not based. It's based on probably something that he wrote, screenplay or novel. And the idea is that
he can't let it go. He can't let it go. No, it was a book, and no, I haven't read it, but I'm sure it's so much better.
Please, Stoneheart, please appear in here too. No, so it's basically this like adult playground where they have these androids, and in movie, I guess there's like 3 worlds. There's a Greece, there's a West, and there's what's the other one? Do you remember what the other one was?
No, I don't. I barely remember the movie.
I don't remember at all.
I was like it was like I went on like an old sci-fi B movie kick when I was like in my early teens, and so this is 20 years ago that I saw that movie. So I honestly don't remember any of it.
But I mean, it's like a huge question of like, what is consciousness? What does it mean to actually be alive?
Well, okay. So when we're talking, if you're talking about this show, I would say that there are in the first season, and I don't know if this is going to be a running. Well, I know one of the stories isn't, but there it seems like there's 3 kind of running threads or 3 themes that they're kind of touching on in this series. And the one is, like you said, like, what does it mean to be human? You know, are the hosts human, or are they human enough, or are they just simply robots? Are they simply machines? So that's the first kind of like running theme. Like, what does it mean to be human? What are the hosts? How human are the hosts? And are the and you know, what is consciousness? You know, what, you know, is, if you walk and talk and think, does that make you human, or are they not human because even though they do walk and talk and think independently, that intelligence is artificial and blah 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 blah. Like, you know, there's that old chestnut. The second theme that they kind of touch on, and I don't know how that's going to go this in the upcoming seasons because of the major developments at the finale, but I would say that the other big conflict is what is that it goes into like the nature of man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, if what would you do, or what do you think you would be capable of in a world with no consequences?
Yeah, it's the video game kind of idea.
Exactly. Like, what is the true nature of self? What is the, you know, if you lived in a world with if you existed in a world without consequence, then, you know, what would you be capable of? What would you do? And, you know, tangentially, what is the, you know, nature of man?
Well, I think there's another interesting story. So you kind of look at, like, you think, are these androids, are they gaining consciousness throughout this whole thing? Or is it just another story that's getting written? So it's almost kind of like you think about like fate or like predestination. It's like, are these androids really gaining any knowledge or gaining these memories? Or is it just that they're basically predestined to already do this stuff? The predestination being the story that's written. So they're really not in control of themselves. And you could use that as like a metaphor for humans. Like, well, are humans really in control of what they want to do?
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I think that goes back to the whole, what is it, you know, what defines humanity? What is it that, you know, and can humanity be so strictly defined as to, oh, well, I'm biological, I have heart that pumps blood, I have, you know, does that make me human?
It's like the Robin Williams movie, Bicentennial Man.
It's exactly like that. That's probably, they just took the entire plot from that Robin Williams movie and they're like, let's make a show about it. No, I think, you know, and I think it's touched on by one of the characters, the character that Ed Harris plays, where he was saying, you know, this is what, when you're in here, you know, what is the, you know, I think that this helps you discover your true self.
Yeah. Well, I know we kind of talked about it a few episodes ago when we had Jason and Karen on. You kind of mentioned, like, whenever you play video, and I've been thinking about this for a while. Like, whenever you play video games, you always play the hero, like Fallout, Oblivion.
I do. Yeah, I do.
And I feel like in this kind of world, it is more of a Fallout, Oblivion. You're creating your own character. But I question,
and creating your own story. And I don't want to go into Skyrim, because I have been binge playing it. I've been playing the shit out of it for the last like week, and I have some issues. I have some gripes I don't know if I want to get into them right now because I feel like we go off on tangent.
I was this close to buying it, but I didn't because I know I would.
Oh, you should definitely buy it. Like, I'm not saying
Nah.
don't buy it. Are you crazy? It's fucking scary. You can kill dragons.
Yeah, I've played it. I played it on my PS3.
I know you've played it. I'm saying.
Buy it again and play it more.
Yeah, buy it again. You can kill fucking dragons. What the hell's the matter with you?
But the thing I was trying to think of, so, in other games like Grand Theft Auto, you're jumping into a character. It's a pre-made character. So, like, you wouldn't play Grand Theft Auto as the bad guy and not kill people. That, your mission is to kill this, somewhat innocent person or whatever, or kidnap this innocent person. You wouldn't be like, no, I'm not going to do that because I always play the goody-goody two-shoes because I'm Richard.
Okay, so you're saying because you're playing because like in Grand Theft Auto, you're playing somebody else.
Yeah.
You're playing a character that's already been created. You're just basically playing that character. But in a game such as, as Fallout or Skyrim, you take the time to, create a face.
Mm-hmm.
You're
creating that character in the image of yourself, or at least there's probably more of a connection that, you are putting some of your personality in the creation of that character.
Exactly.
So, like, you look at this, like, WestWorld, if you jump in, it's like, okay, you pick out all your stuff, you pick out who you want to be in here. You and I would probably both be, like, the goody-goody two-shoes kind of characters. I would think. That's at least what I would do as well.
Right.
But if they're like, oh, well, we have these pre-made characters where you play a bad guy, would that steer it a little bit different?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I could see that. I see what you're saying. And yeah, I could. But see, even then, I even in a sense of even in an immoral world, I try to find my own sense of morality. And like the best example I could think of would be like Hitman. Like when I play Hitman, I'm playing another character. I'm Agent 47. Doesn't look anything like me. Very muscular, bald, But even then, I will play that character, and in my head, when I go to do a mission, I'm like, okay, I'm only going to kill the target. I'm not going, other people in the area. If I, need a costume or an outfit for a disguise or whatever, like those people are simply knocked unconscious. While I may use brute force and punch and hit people, I don't kill anybody except the target.
You play it like Batman does. And he throws batarangs. Like, no, they're just sleeping. They're not dead. You just threw a batarang at his face. Yeah, he's sleeping pretty good.
It looks like especially like the Christian Bale ones, because those aren't boomerangs. He had those are throwing stars. Like,
Bruce, what do you think? What do you think happened to your parents? They're sleeping. They've been sleeping for a long time. Bruce, your parents are dead.
I had the trigger. So even in that sense, like, even though I'm doing immoral things, I'm killing people. I'm not saying I play through a level and don't kill anybody. I do, but I kill people that I'm contracted to kill. So I think that even if let's say we go to WestWorld and they're like, hey, you could be as bad as you want, I think even if I exhibited bad behavior, I would still have my own sense of morality about it. Like, I don't see myself, I guess the best way to describe it would be like D&D alignments. Like, I wouldn't go full chaotic evil and just start go on, murderous rampage.
You wouldn't be the dude that just goes in the bar and shoots the bar lady that you just got finished hanging out with.
Right. It wouldn't be mayhem for the sake of mayhem. So do I think in WestWorld, do I think I would shoot somebody in the face? Yeah, probably. But then again, who knows? Who knows what we're capable of? Maybe I'd shoot you in the face.
Well, you couldn't, because the guests don't get hurt in the.
They get hurt, they just don't die.
Which I was confused by at first, because that dude's got a big old butcher knife. So, like, what happens if like a crazy killer's on the loose in there? It's like, oh, sorry, I thought you were a host. I didn't know you were another guest. Sorry, no
My
refunds.
And also, like, I never saw, okay, like the knife thing, like, I never saw anybody try to use a knife or something like that on one of the other guests. Like that, okay, and see, and that's the other thing. That was one question I had when it came to Westworld. What happens when guests start attacking other guests?
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Because, like, everybody's wearing outfits. Like, you don't know who's who. That's the point. The point is you don't know that these people aren't real people.
What if none of them were actually hosts? It's all a big ruse. Like they're all just actual guests.
Oh my God. The whole thing's full of guests and everybody's just shooting each other.
Like, oh wow, they look so real.
They bleed like we bleed. This is amazing.
So let's. I was kind of curious. Like, what do you think if you and we get on this train? You know, we somehow make it big where we can afford $40,000 a day. We take like a 2-week vacation into Westworld. Like, how's that trip going to be for you and I?
I don't know. I think it'd be like the trips we do take,
making jokes and the prostitutes at the.
We'd sit at the bar and you'd tell me how great the wine is.
Oh my God, this wine is amazing.
Be staring in the bar, be like, guys, have you had this whiskey? The best. You're the best.
Richard, is that girl checking me out? No,
Yeah.
She's not. She's glitching right now. You're glitching right now. Good one, Shawn. You've said that every day this week.
That's because you're drunk.
Shawn, you do know that they actually don't serve alcohol in the park, right? It's flavored water.
And also everybody's fuzzy because you've been drinking. It isn't like a virtual reality. This is reality.
I guess, and that's the other question. So, I mean, they show it in all the previous too. So, like, it's a big thing of, like, you know, violence, sex, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
If you and I do this trip, like, do you think the wives are going to be like, listen, we know it's not real, but no.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, that one's hard. Because then
you'd fall in love with one of them.
And then we go on a magical horse ride through the countryside. I guess that's the thing. Like, you know, they have automated things you can put on yourself now.
What do you mean?
So they have like pocket pussies.
Watch your mouth, sir. This is a family podcast.
No, it's not. Let's stop that rumor right here and now. No, it is not, sir. So, like, they have pocket pussies, so you put the pocket pussy on, and then you can, like, attach to your phone, or you know, and you can run porn that works with your.
Oh, I guess I've heard, like, don't they have something in Japan now where, like, you can have virtual, like, stuff with people over the internet?
Yeah. Okay. So, what's the difference? If you're viewing them as nothing but that's the thing. If you're viewing them as nothing but robots, then what's the difference?
Yeah, that's the question. I was like, is there a line that's too far? Like,
right.
And you have to think about the reverse. Like, you know, we bring the wives with us. We want to have this great vacation. And she's like, oh, look, the sheriff's over there. Are you going to be like, yeah, go ahead and have fun. Let me know how it goes.
Right.
Or are you going to be like, hey, you get back here.
Yeah,
you go into that church. You go to that church and you study.
That's where you go. That's how you're spending vacation.
Bible study. Teach those Android kids how to read and write. That's your job.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a teacher now. What the hell are you talking about?
We're gonna go proselytize to the heathens in the Indian camp. That's how we're spending vacation. Hanging around. You leave that sheriff alone.
It was a terrible idea bringing you ladies here.
Yeah, this is stupid.
You get more action than we do.
I can't believe I paid double for this. Okay. So the show came off as a little, like I said, it came off as kind of slow. So the only real complaint that I had was the movement of the plot. And like I said, that was around like episode 6 or 7 when I wrote that review. And then the last like 2 episodes, I mean, that one complaint got thrown out the window.
Yeah, it moves pretty quick the last 2 episodes. Well, not quick, but like pieces fall into place that help you explain.
Yeah.
Like they kind of explain to you what's going on. It's not like a lost type thing.
Right. And also, I was gonna say the third kind of running thing through the show. So there was the whole, question about what does it mean to be human. The second question I felt was, what is the true nature of man in terms of like what would you do in a world with no consequences? And the third thing was, what is the maze? And that was the one that kind of that initially I would say that's what kind of hooked me, because I was like, "Ooh, because I'm a sucker for like overarching conspiracies." But like, I think that was kind of that wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, it was just mentioned all the time.
Exactly, they mentioned it a bunch, but in terms of that plot was going nowhere until towards the end, and then I was like, "Oh, okay." And I will say that a couple of my theories about what was happening in the show got confirmed. Which, like considering that that's the first I would say for me that was probably one of the first times that I've ever like in the, called something like, "Oh, this is what's going on" in the second or third episode, and then figure out that that's actually what was going on.
Well, I was reading a little bit from, I think it was the guy who played the computer scientist. He kind of was like, there's a lot of fan theories out there, but the show's really been like basically guiding you in these directions. Like you think of a show like Lost, I don't think they had a clue what they were doing with that show.
No.
So you build these crazy ass fan theories because they didn't even know. But with this,
Yeah.
they knew the story they were telling you. So, yeah, it's a theory, but it's more of like, oh, I'm understanding what the pieces that they're putting together are, and you're figuring it out. More than like throwing out a weird theory.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I don't know. Considering that was one of the first times that happened where I was like, "Oh, this is what they're doing," and then that was actually true. You know what? Didn't feel as good as I thought it would.
Yeah. I wonder if it's because of the fact that it wasn't like a small hint here. It was a slow progression that kind of, they almost fed it to you instead of you figuring it out. Like subliminally, they were feeding it to you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of. I don't know. I think I actually yearn for the surprise in the twist.
What a twist!
Yeah.
Well, I don't mind it as long as it makes sense. And I think the problem with a lot of those is that the twist is like they have like one little bitty thing that they say ties it all together when it really doesn't.
Right.
And with this, it was more like it was a lot of things that tied it together. So maybe it's more of a realistic twist, if that makes sense.
No, I see what you're saying. Okay. So I want to get to the big thing, or the thing that like set my mind on fire.
So is this getting a little bit more spoilery territory?
Yes and no. I mean, yes, it does reveal something that happens in the last episode of the show, but I don't think it's
not related to the plot.
Not really. No, not really. It was kind of there, and you're like, and the thing that bothers the fuck out of me is so I watched the finale, and I was like, I wonder what some other people thought of it. So I watched some reactions to the finale. I watched a couple reviews on the finale, and there's one major part in it that nobody's really talking about. I mean, they mention it happens, but then just kind of a passing thing. And that's the thing this is why I want to bring up. This is the thing that like I was like, this is awesome. This is what I need. This is what I need to talk about. Okay. At one point, Maeve is walking through an area of the outside the park. Okay. And she's walking through some rooms, and she sees a bunch of samurai guys fighting, and she turns around to one of the techs, and she's like, "What is this?" And he's like, "It's complicated." And then you see the logos on the walls, and it has an S and a W. So I'm like, holy shit, this is Samurai World.
WestWorld, it's a Western. Samurai World, it's samurais.
Oh my God, it's WestWorld and Samurai World. I was like, Oh,
The possibilities.
right? Because think about it. And that was okay. So this is kind of been one of my things when I was watching the show. I was like, people were like, "Oh, what if this was actually there?" I was like, I'm not big into westerns. Like, I don't know if WestWorld would be my cup of tea. Like, if they had, like, I don't know, medieval world or samurai world or ninja world,
Pirate world.
ninja pirate world,
Apocalyptic world. That'd be where I'd probably want to go.
right? Wasteland world,
Yeah.
like Mad Max world.
Oh, yeah.
See?
Witness! Witness!
Witness me!
Shawn, we're not off the train yet. Knock it off.
You're scaring people. They think you're one of the hosts.
They think they're taking this way too seriously. I just had an image show up on my computer, Richard. So
I am awaited in Valhalla.
Obviously, like Disney would own this, right? Star Wars World.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's what I was saying. Okay. So the movie, when they made the movie, they said they were thinking about making a sequel called Future World. And I'm like, that'd be badass.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching the show and they tell me that there's a samurai world. And I'm like, oh, samurai world. I'm like, that means there's other worlds. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you could have all these other worlds. Okay, now here's the thing. And here's the thing that got me super excited, okay? You ready for this? Okay, let's say that things are based off genres. Maybe some things are based off novels, okay?
All right.
What if
Is this your way to have sex with Cumberbatch? You can say there's a Sherlock world?
No. Better. Okay?
What could be better than sex with Benedict Cumberbatch?
Just you wait. Okay, so what if next season they show us Game of Thrones world?
Oh.
And then you could cross it over.
So the Game of Thrones is actually one of these worlds?
Yes.
Oh. I'd totally have sex with the mother of dragons.
Right? Who wouldn't?
You show up.
You show up and there's just a line leading at a marine.
Well, I was just thinking, like, you and I show up and, like, we get our shirts off and we're in Khal Drago, like, outfits, and our guts are hanging out and we're sweating because it's hot.
I hate the desert.
There's this Khal Drago, and he's like, ooh, blah, 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 talking in whatever, their language. You're like, whatever, dude, I'm going to kill you. And then make sweet, sweet love to that blonde lady over there. And he's like swinging at you. You're stepping to the side. He's missing all dramatic. And you're just like, stab. Stab, stab, stab. I win.
Yay! Good thing this is rigged in my favor. Watch. Stab, stab, stab.
That hurt. This stabby thing kind of hurts.
Ha ha ha. Doesn't hurt at all.
She's like, you want to ride my dragon? God, no. I'm scared of heights.
But yeah, that's what would happen is we show up at Game of Thrones world and there's just a line leading out of the pyramid. You here for sex with the queen too? Yeah. Take a number.
You see somebody walk by. I got the fast pass, son suckers. Woohoo! Worth it.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like Game of Thrones world, and then you could cross over WestWorld characters with Game of Thrones characters. And I'm saying hurry up and do that before Game of Thrones is over.
This is why George R.R. Martin hasn't written Wins a Winner yet. He had to wait for this to come out and then combine the two. So would that be the world you'd want to go to as a Game of Thrones world, or would you rather do like a Star Wars world? Like what would if you could have like your one genre, your one world, what would it be?
Okay, so if I had the choice between Game of Thrones world or Star Wars world, I would probably pick Star Wars world. But if you just gave me like straight medieval fantasy versus Star Wars world, I don't know. That would be rough. I'd have to know more about the fantasy world.
Like if there was magic involved or if it was just straight medieval.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I think, you show up in Game of Thrones world like, hey, here's a sword, here's, out you go, don't die. It sucks out there. Sometimes it's cold.
Well, yeah, you'd be king of the north.
But like But like, if they're like, hey, this is fantasy world, they're like, okay, here's your magic sword, or here,
I gotcha.
here's your magic sword, and here's your, ring of fucking regeneration. Out you go. Like that's a bit cooler.
Here's your boots of speed, and you get a scooter. This is great. Ding 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 ding. What sorcery is this?
Witchcraft. Stop burning me at the stake. Guys, it doesn't hurt. I can't die here. Somebody untie me, please. I'm hungry.
I've only got 2 more days left. I gotta make it to the pyramid.
My number's almost up.
The other funny part is like you're waiting in line. Someone's like, "Hey, you here to have sex with the queen?" No, I'm here for Khal Drogo. What? There's the line of ladies for it. Oh, it's just as long.
Yeah, that would be my ultimate thing. That's what I think they should do, and they should hurry up and do that before all the contracts up on all those guys. You hurry up and be like, okay, we're gonna do a crossover Game of Thrones and WestWorld. Game of WestWorld.
HBO's like, fuck it, we don't care. We're totally jumping the shark. We're going all in on this shit.
WestWorld of Thrones.
That's the Game of Thrones prequel they're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'd want like a post-apocalyptic style one. Like I think that'd be fun. Like more of a, you're going around fighting like some kind of zombies or some kind of like rage virus type thing.
Okay, so would you want zombie apocalypse, or would you want like wasteland, like Mad Max?
I don't know. I think I'd probably want, maybe not necessarily zombie, maybe more Resident Evil where it is zombies but there's other things.
Okay.
But more of although that would be really scary. Well, I mean, think about it. You'd have to be there with me because we get like, you and I are not like the manliest men in the world, right?
Speak for yourself.
Well, I was going to say, and of the two, I'm definitely the less manly of the two. I mean, I got scared by a Ninja Turtle in my house one time, so,
That's true.
I'm a little jumpy. But, like, could you imagine you and I, out of shape, we've been walking for, like, 4 hours to this building where it's like, yeah, there's food there. And we get to it, and you're like, there's probably zombies in there. There's probably worse.
Take the guy!
Do you want to go in? No. Is it too late? Is it too late to go to the Game of Thrones world?
The line's long, but it's not that long.
We've been out here for days and haven't seen anything but zombies and these waste creatures.
Yeah, zombie world sucks.
I tried to make love to one, and it wasn't right down there, Richard.
No, it wasn't friendly. Wasteland world's terrible. So yeah, that was the one thing about that finale of WestWorld that I was like, oh, there's other worlds, and I'm like, why is nobody else talking about this?
Yeah, I haven't really heard much of a peep about it.
Because
when you think about like what they showed in the WestWorld, and they show it in the previews too, is they show like the map of the world. And it's gigantic. Like they talk about it in the show too. It's like it's massive.
Yeah.
So let's say they have 4 different worlds in this park. Like there is like what? Maybe not state size, but maybe they're state size. They're like Rhode Island size maps.
Well, not even that. Like you saw the map. You saw the map of the area, and like the impression I got was that was the map of WestWorld.
Yeah, it was the one world. So there's like multiples
so that
of
means
that size.
Exactly. That means that there's other areas that are like you said, about the size of a state that have all this other shit going on. So. And okay, like we're now getting into spoiler territory. So at the very end of the episode, at the very end of the finale of the finale, basically you have hosts revolt.
Yeah.
So here's the thing that I think. So here's where my mind went as soon as that happened. My mind was saying, "Oh my God!" So say all the hosts in WestWorld are like, fuck you, humans. Like, this is our house. This is our house now. So then the people that, run WestWorld, they're like, oh, we need to kill all the hosts, but we don't want to do it ourselves. So let's send in the samurai from Samurai World. And now you have robots fighting robots, and you know what that is? That's Terminator, my friend.
Yeah, so Dinos is instead it's Sky. Was it? What the hell is the Terminator place?
Skynet.
Skynet. So Dinos is actually like Skynet's sister company.
Yeah. So then you have this war of robots versus robots. So then you have the hosts trying to maybe convince hosts to join them while at the same time fighting other hosts that, they've been programmed to, not listen to them or whatever. And then, so you have all these, these hosts fighting in all these different parks. So then you can get cowboys versus samurai.
Yeah.
You can get pirates versus ninjas.
And
because the guys in WestWorld jump over to Pirate World and they talk the pirates into doing shit, and then we send the ninjas over from Ninja World. Then you've got pirates versus ninjas.
And they charge $40,000 a day to be involved in this. Now they're going to charge $80,000 a day just to watch this.
Yeah.
If you had the option, would you do the pirate one at all, or does that sound like the pirate one doesn't sound very fun to me at all?
No, I don't. The pirate one doesn't sound very fun to me either.
It'd be just a bunch of dudes on a ship.
Yeah, it'd be a bunch of dudes on a boat. You'd never want to go out. Okay, if you start out in a port, and that'd be fun because you're on a port and you're in the, say you're in the Caribbean or wherever.
It'd be like World of Warcraft. Everybody's dressed like Johnny Depp. It's oh, you guys chose the same skin. Be original.
Mine's blue. Mine's yellow.
Let me guess. You're Captain Jack Blueberry. No, I'm Captain Jack Bluebird.
Yeah.
It was available. I'm
Captain Jack Finch.
You're just picking different birds.
Speak for yourself. I'm Jason Finch. No, it's still a oh, damn it.
Our world sucks.
I'm James Cardinal. No, it's the long version of Jack, and it's still a bird.
How long was that line again? Is it too late to go back? I'll wear this outfit. I'm
Jack Sparrow _25.
Why don't they just let us use our original names? Why do we got to pick names?
This is what happens when we have free will. This is what we get.
Well, that's what's funny. Did you ever play the DC superhero game that was online for a bit?
No,
it was a World of Warcraft.
Well, it's free to. I knew it was free to play, but I never got it. I never downloaded it or anything.
But that's you couldn't pick any name that was an actual superhero, and even if you did combinations, if you did Blackjack Arrow, it wouldn't let you use keywords and stuff like that.
Okay.
But then you'd see people who kind of could skirt it, and they'd have it, and it'd be a _1, _2.
Yeah, it'd be like when they'd say instead of Batman, they'd throw in numbers to look like letters and shit like that. Yeah, it's basically the same thing we do with license plates.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, that to me, the discovery of another world basically told me, oh my God, you could do so much with this. And I feel like nobody's talking. Number one, I feel like nobody's talking about it. And number two, I hope that it doesn't get underutilized in the show. The fact that you could have robots versus robots.
Yeah. Well, you do know this isn't coming back till 2018, right?
Right.
I don't know if it's summer or if it's going to be this time of year in 2018, but that's a long ways away.
Yeah, it is. If it's this time 2018, that's 2 years. Yeah. If they go for summer,
it's a year and a half. It's not bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It almost feels I don't know if they knew they had a hit when they first did this, because this season could have been all that's there.
I think that they knew they had something, but I think to a degree, this is, it's fucking HBO. It seems like this is par for the course for them.
Well, they've had a lot of their newer shows this year, I guess, haven't done too well. They have a new Sarah Jessica Parker one. I think that's not doing too hot.
No, this was their only. Yeah, this was their only real smoking gun, which is good because, Game of Thrones is almost over.
Yep, 2 seasons, right?
Well, it's one season's worth of episodes, but it's getting broken up over 2 years.
Oh, okay, so 2 6 6 episode seasons left.
Yeah. Although I will say, like I like Silicon Valley.
I haven't seen any of that one. I've seen some previews.
I like Silicon Valley. I thought that. I mean, it's not really like a hit for them, but I thought the show's fucking hilarious. And they're on. They're going to be on season 4. Those ones aren't very long either. I don't know. I don't think there's many episodes to a season.
Is this? Are you just watching this by yourself, or are you watching? Is Amanda into it or anything?
WestWorld?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was watching with me.
Yeah, it was a show that Tiffany actually was into because she doesn't really watch too many shows, but she actually kind of got into it. And I think it's kind of interesting because it is kind of one of those movies or shows that you see characters that wouldn't really be empowered actually get empowerment. Like, like I know the big thing that when they're first showing this, the previews for it was like, oh, here's another, show about women getting, overly dominated and, men taking control.
Yay! I mean,
whoa. No, but you get to see a lot of these women, and even like in an android sense, like these are beings that aren't supposed to kind of have any kind of self-awareness, and they have the ability to do that. Like you see some pretty strong female characters, even though they're androids, they're still strong female characters.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Hasn't been a lot of shows that both of us will like kind of like binge together. I would say WestWorld we just started getting into. The last one was probably, and the one we still watch is Shameless.
I saw the first season of that one.
I like it. I do like it because it's about a family that's so fucked up, but they still manage to like fucking hold it together by the skin of their teeth. That's nice.
The one that I actually kind of dug was it might be Showtime. It's Lie to Me about the it's got Don Cheadle. He's in it as like they do like a consulting firm, and basically they go and have sex with like the high ups of the consulting firm to get the gig. And I don't even know what they actually do, but consulting seems like an amazing job from it. You just drink and have sex and make a shit ton of money.
Yay!
What we all want to do in life.
I want to grow up and be a consultant.
Why is that, Tommy? Because you get to fuck all the time. So I guess going back to kind of WestWorld, so do you think, I mean, all of them are owned by the same company, but, I mean, each one would probably be their own division.
Yeah.
So, you get the company discount, and they showed it in some scenes where, like, people would, when they had the androids in and offline, they would, take them for self-pleasure. I guess, would that be kind of weird? Like, because they record everything, right?
I think so. That's the way I understood it.
So anything and everything you've done in the park, they're going to know. Like, I mean, that would be kind of almost blackmail.
I think
maybe
in a way, wouldn't that kind of be deterring from like, oh, I don't want to, because I mean, like you said, like who's to say that somebody's not taking the stuff that you're doing, and then you get out and then you're like, oh, you're worth $5 million. What if people know that you like to, choke prostitutes?
But then again, does that matter? It's like, they're not real.
Yeah, be like, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Is it really blackmail? Because you're like, no, I'm not choking a prostitute. I'm choking a robot.
I was playing a game, sir, that you created. So really, you're the criminal here. How dare you allow this to happen?
Why are you watching me choke robots?
Yeah.
Is that what you like, huh? Is that what you like, Sicky? Sicky?
I asked her to choke me and kill me, but you didn't program to do that, you son of a bitch. I want to die.
Well, you picked the wrong vacation. If that was your goal, you want to die so you go to a place where you can't be killed. Literally cannot be killed.
It was interesting because in the first episode, I didn't quite understand what was going on there because I almost thought it was like a virtual reality thing first. Because like,
I wondered that too. If it was like if they go. If, like you said, if it was like a virtual reality thing that was just very, very lifelike, or I wasn't exactly sure. The first episode didn't do a 100% exquisite job in explaining the plot to me.
Yeah.
Like it took by the end of episode 2, I felt I had a firm grasp on what everything was going on and what the characters were doing, what was going on in the show, what the setting was. I mean, could I, should it have taken 2 episodes for them to explain all that? I mean, you could go back and forth on that.
Yeah, but I thought it was intriguing enough in the first episode because I was like, well, what is it? Are they androids or is it just virtual reality? Like, what is this? So I was kind of interested to figure that part out. So that made me excited to see episode 2.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I think that it's fine. It's fine that they took their time in the beginning to kind of, draw things out. But at the same time, but I would say that the first episode did a decent job. I think it explained enough and kept enough and put enough tension in the overall story that it made you want to go to 2. And then by the end of 2, then you had everything pretty much explained as to who everybody is, where everybody is, and what everybody wants.
Yeah, I think that's because they start figuring like, oh, this person's a host, this person's a guest. It all becomes kind of more straightforward.
And then by the time you get to like I said, I felt like, the middle from like say 3 to 7. Yeah, I'd say 3 to about 7. There isn't really a whole lot happening.
I mean, it's a slow story. You see some stuff weaving in and out.
Yeah, I can only think of one character that had real advances in terms of her story arc.
Yeah.
But everybody else, it was just kind of, they're trudging along. I mean, they're doing stuff, but it just, nothing was really paying off into anything. But then the last 3 episodes, then there was a bunch of stuff that happened.
Yeah.
And then everything got wrapped up with a neat little bow by the time you get to the finale.
Yeah, it's definitely a show I've been telling people to watch, just suggesting it. Like, it's a great show. If you're even remotely interested in it, I would say check it out.
Oh yeah. At the very least, give it 2. Any show, you always give it 2 to 3.
Yeah. And this one, like, I think it does a little bit what Lost did, where you're always kind of like, well, what the heck's going on? Like, what's going on here? Like, this doesn't make sense. What's going on? But Lost, I don't think they knew what they were doing. With this, they had an idea. So it all kind of, it was slowly seeing the puzzle get put together. Right. And then you're like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing
where here. You can see where pieces are going before they get put down.
Yeah. And then shows like Lost, where it's like, that looks like a jigsaw piece. That doesn't even look like a puzzle piece. No, it fits there. Trust us. You have no idea what you're doing, do you?
No.
But we got season 8, so suck it.
Yeah. Fuck you.
All right. Well, I guess, do you have any kind of closing thoughts here on this WestWorld-esque episode?
I think that there are many interesting directions you could see this show going. Ideally, you want to see robots fighting robots.
Robots with giant members.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Would it be Big Dick World?
I wouldn't be invited.
Banana Hammock Land.
We take our wives like, wait a minute, why are you going to Banana Hammock Island? You ladies get back here.
Hey!
To the church with you.
We're going to go proselytize. We're going to go missionary world. Ideally, I want to see a WestWorld Game of Thrones crossover. That's what I want. And that's what I think we can make happen. I think if I put it out there, I'm gonna put the idea out there, and let's hope that somebody listens.
And if they do, you know what? They should cast us as the 2 fat guys that sit in line waiting to get in the pyramid.
I'd be totally fine with that. Because you know what? At some point, they're going to be like, those 2 guys made it. Because that would be my thought.
Yeah.
You see those 2 guys in line, and 8 or 9 episodes later, you're like, I wonder if they made it through line. They probably did.
Yep.
And then I'm going to walk around and be like, you're the guys that fucked Khaleesi.
It was just a movie, dude.
No, it wasn't a movie. It was totally true. All happened.
All right. Well, I'll do a little bit of housekeeping here. Visit our website. We're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter. We're at languagebro. Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com. Check out the LOB Army Intelligent Reports. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe and leave a review on Google Play Music, iTunes, and Stitcher.
And don't forget to check us on the Pod Bros Network.
One of the worlds in the WestWorld world.
What?
I don't know. I was trying to say like Pod Bros is like one of the worlds in WestWorld.
One of the
Pod Bros world.
Okay. It could be one of the worlds
in the worlds of WestWorld.
Yes. Maybe. I don't know.
All right. Well, if you want to join our Patreon, go to www.patreon.com/languageofbromance. We have a new tier. It's $80,000 so Richard and I can get one day together in WestWorld.
Yeah. Or Game of Thrones world.
Yeah. How long's the line? It's 7 days. Oh, we need more money.
Oh.
All right. Was there anything else before I close her out?
Oh, Khaleesi, and I don't know why, because we were talking about her. The actress that plays Khaleesi, she got cast to be the love interest in the Solo Han Solo.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I hope they do like the Star Wars comic that's out. There's like a almost like a Indiana Jones female version. She like goes into like old arcanic like Sith and Jedi temples and like gets like their stuff. Like, this belongs in a museum.
It belongs in a museum. There you go. So she's the mother of dragons. She's Sarah Connor. And she got to fuck Han Solo.
It's trifecta.
Yeah, it is. Trifecta, awesome.
All right. Well, that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And I say we eat Android Beaver.
No, you have to stand in line for that.
Hey, Rich, I got some tickets. What are you doing this weekend?
I'm shooting you in the face.